Daddy's home. What hockey heard you the first time? Lady, no! Mom, call the dog!
All right, you guys ready? Let's do it.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
I suppose. As ready as I'll ever be.
For our best episode
Yeah.
ever. If I keep saying it, it's better, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't put more stress on that at all.
To do the best episode we've ever done. Hi! Welcome to Venture Bros. Your host is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, are Nick Fluff-fluffbfbf-FLUFF Friedemann.
Hello.
That one I totally made up on the spot, if you couldn't tell.
Huh.
And I mostly went for that one because John has been writing out the nicknames in our internet posts, and I want to see how he spells that one.
A lot of F's.
I hope so.
I heard an
F's.
L and maybe a U.
There's a fluff. It's kind of like a Hufflepuff, if you will, but with, more F's and not saying Hufflepuff. Perfect, right?
Nailed it.
And we have Graham the shit Mason.
Hello. I feel like you kind of bleeped out the wrong word there.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, I do love my bleeps.
But I'm here.
Yes.
I am here, ready to record.
Well, from my perspective, you are there.
Yeah, it was kind of a more like
And from my perspective, the Jedi are evil.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess here in time, like as a kind of like a fourth dimension thing.
I like to think of it as the fifth dimension.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's wrong.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are some people who don't think the time is really a fourth dimension. I mean,
Time is all relative, right?
indeed, but time
Yeah.
can act like space at some points. So, and then once you bring in the Tesseract and you talk about the fourth dimension, and I mean, things get pretty complicated from there.
Yep.
But anyways, there's a little plug for Cosmos, the old and the new, with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Cosmos is a good show, talking about Tesseracts and fourth dimensions and stuff. So go for
as
it.
much fun as the new one is, I'd still rather watch the old one. It was way cornier. I like the cheese.
Yeah, I mean, he was great, Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Talking about all that crazy stuff. They re-released the book, and it's narrated by LeVar Burton, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Anyhow, Venture Brothers.
This isn't a Reading Rainbow podcast?
Nope. Although I'd listen to that.
I'm currently listening to it as we're talking, so
It shows. All right, so this week we are doing episode 2 of season 2. Who wants to say what happens in this one? I feel like Nick does.
Yeah, I'll do it.
hey, all right.
All right.
So give us the name of this episode and what all happens in it.
So this episode is called Hate Floats. The Monarch has escaped from jail, prison, the pen, and his henchmen
clink, if you
are talking about inane bullshit while the Monarch calls and basically says, "Get down here. I need the cocoon that you have destroyed. I need it up and running basically as soon as possible after I'm done with my shower." And so they go and recruit some people in a seedy part of town and basically get them involved, get the cocoon up and running. They go and try and start spying on Dr. Girlfriend, who is with Phantom Limb. They go to the mall, which happens to be also where the Venture Brothers are, where Dean is getting a speed suit, his first. And from there, hilarity ensues. Everything goes belly up, like, immediately. And basically that's it. And then everything gets saved at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like most Venture Brothers episodes. Not all, but most.
So what are hot takes around the table? What do you guys think of this one?
I like this episode a lot.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, it definitely has one of the best openings of at least this season that I can remember.
I would say it's my second favorite opening out of any season. Under Mecha Shiva, this is my number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's tough to beat Mecha Shiva, but just the da 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 da. It's so good, and it's so iconic, like Venture Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. Lady, no!
Get out of the Mom, call lady.
But it's one of those things where it's like, that's just so like iconic Venture Brothers that if you've never seen the show, a lot of times people show you that clip of like, look at how good this show can be, and it's that thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like I know Brock, our note taker, he says this is one of his favorites of the entire run. I think it's a really solid episode, but kind of, we mentioned this a lot in season 1. I love the opening of this episode. The rest of it, I kind of forget where it falls in line with everything. And like, I remember the mall. I remember a lot of things. I just never really remember this episode as a whole episode. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that kind of weird?
No,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of odd. Like, it takes place pretty much all in a shopping mall, and it's kind of odd. And then I guess you have Brock and Phantom Limb have their own thing, and then they come back in the end, and then whatever. But yeah, it feels oddly like segmented. But yeah, I honestly, as this episode was going on, I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But I kind of totally forgot about it.
Yeah, I remember Phantom Limb and Brock teaming up, but I didn't remember it was this episode they did it in. Like, that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's very fragmented. I think part of the problem is that the beginning of this episode takes place almost immediately after the previous episode.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then that doesn't seem super connected to what happens with the rest of the episode. So basically right after that chunk, there's a split, and then it becomes the mall bit, and then after that it becomes the rescue mission from like 8 different perspectives. But like nothing really is super cohesive, which I think actually helps the episode, but it doesn't make it an easy episode to remember at all.
Yeah. If you're just going from like a comedy standpoint, the episode's hilarious. Like, I laugh every time I watch it. There's great stuff in here. The boys with Dr. Girlfriend is like, it just kills me every time with the, "Are you our mommy?" Like, I just
How do you know all this? Listen, you did a lot of weird things when you date supervillains.
But like that's what I mean. Like, there's so many great moments. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, because, I mean, as you look at it, I mean, even as a chronology standpoint, it's like, oh, yeah, this could totally make sense taking place over, like, I don't know, 3 days. So, like, it totally makes sense of, like, oh, yeah, yeah, you follow this and that. But it just, I don't know, it just feels totally oddly segmented. But, yeah, it's a great episode. It's got a ton of great one-liners. It has one of the ones that I quote so much in my daily life, which is, Are those them? Are these they? Who talks like that? Are these they? Just perfect.
I love because he's correcting him. Are these they?
And then the Monarch says it. Who talks like that? Are these they? Yes.
And I love that, like, it's one of those moments where you just see how truly stupid 21 used to be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because as, like, into it as he is now in the show, like, he is as high up as it can go. They even more commonly refer to him as number 2 now instead of 21. Like, when you go way back in the day, he had an entire closet full of collectibles that he thought he could use as toys, still packaged. Like, here's your Aragorn sword that you're gonna go fight with, but don't take its mitten box.
Mitten box? Yeah. Are you crazy?
I even wrote down, do you think that this whole like personal armory business haunts 21? Because I feel like it kind of does, like in a weird sort of way, because I feel like outside of the show, he probably gets a lot of shit for this. He really hard sells this armory, like really hard. And I think that like 24 makes fun of him relentlessly for it.
Yeah. Throughout like half of the episode. I mean, they all make fun of him, but it's like, yeah, he's building it up. You're like, what if we had weapons of our own? Yeah. An armory that I've been collecting over the ages. It's like, and we cut away, go to 2 other stories, and then cut back, and he's still talking about his armory. And then we finally get there. And I love the moment the Monarch puts on the Hulk hand.
Yeah.
Like, all right, hands in the middle. Hulk smash, beauty humans.
Oh, it's so good.
I used to have those Hulk gloves. They didn't say that, so it's way to go, show inaccuracies.
I had a friend who had the ones that did. It was like a pressure sensor in the knuckle.
Yep. Oh no, they said things. They don't say Hulk smash puny humans. It's the wrong thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the show's so accurate. Get your shit right.
It's copyright. It's probably copyright. That's what it is. They couldn't get the rights to it.
Yeah, sure. So my wife brought up a really good point when we were watching this one last night, and I hadn't really ever thought about it before. They mentioned a number of times that 21 was kidnapped. Like, he did not want to be a henchman. That was never his goal.
Yeah.
Do you guys find it odd how into being a henchman he is, being that he never chose this life?
No, because we brought up the armory already. I think the armory for him is like, he's so detached from real life at this point. Like, 24 I think is much more in line with what is real life to a large extent, because I think 24 has a much more like grounded view of how deadly the quote unquote new henchmen are, while 21 really earnestly believes that his magic cards are going to do some serious damage. Like, you know what I mean?
It definitely sees this as like a job, and not like just a job. This is definitely his life, but he definitely sees this as something that he can like do and progress in. Whereas, I think like you were saying with 21, like progressing for him is leveling up.
Exactly. He has like a wall there. I also think that this is a weirder point, which is he got kidnapped at a young age. They never address him and his mom. He is living at home with his mom.
Yeah.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah. I think it's fine, but it is a weird thing. They've never addressed it in the show. I don't think.
Like, when the Monarch went under, he was able just to go home and start being himself, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just, again, separated from reality, just doing what he needed to do to survive. And I think he always kind of trusted or expected or knew that the Monarch would come back and that he would be able to resume his life. I mean, like, it just, his life or his game was on pause until he was able to restart it again.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was just, I always kind of found it interesting because I always kind of forget that he was kidnapped. Like, this was never his number one choice.
Right.
Especially because
I had forgotten that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but like with where the show goes, like he just gets better and better at being a henchman to the point where he'd almost be a good supervillain on his own, but he just doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that like we're a little bit dancing around a moment that ends up coming up, I think 2-ish seasons later, which is his turning point. And I think that's when he realizes that it's not just a game anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to totally dive down that hole.
No. Neither do I. I felt like
at this moment in time,
I felt like it would be a bad idea not to address it.
He's still, I mean, how old? Do we even know how old he is right now?
He's got to be early 20s.
Yeah, early 20s, maybe 30s or something.
No,
so he's still,
I wouldn't go 30s. I'd say it's 20s.
Yeah. And so I think he's still, developing as a human, but developing as a character, too. It's like he's still kind of learning the ropes and what have you. So.
Right.
Yeah. The next people I want to talk about in this thing, because they never come back, which makes sense. They're all dead. But I love the replacement henchmen. Like, I love them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that they could not hang around, like it just would not work for the show, but I totally could have watched an
Absolutely not.
entire season with them being the henchmen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, granted, they did take over the cocoon within like 30 minutes. But, yes, I think it would be great. I mean, I also think the final battle and the total destruction is amazing. And when Phantom Limb and Brock team up, oh my
the
god,
best.
it is so entertaining and works so well.
Here's the interesting thing about it, though, is that the henchmen throughout the entirety of the show are a joke. They get slaughtered like they're tissue paper, like just nothing to even be thought about. But when they hire these gangsters who overthrew the cocoon in a matter of moments, when Brock and Phantom Lynn show up, it's the easiest it's ever been. It kind of says the disposable henchmen are not that bad.
Yeah. I also think that they seem to, because they get the drop on everybody using guns that nobody's expecting, that's actually what wins them that first fight. But everything else about them is like completely useless.
Yeah, it's interesting in a way that never really comes back, because like after a while the henchmen pretty much just kind of disappear except for 21-24. But it's weird to think of them as like competent people at all.
Yeah.
But then compared to these guys who've never had, henchmen training, they're surprisingly better.
It's just team fighting, team spirit.
Yeah.
I think that's really, that's what it is.
Team spirit and malt liquor, apparently.
Wait, isn't that what team spirit is? Malt liquor?
I mean, that's what I call it at my house, but I wasn't sure if that was what everybody else called it.
Isn't that a brand of malt liquor? Team Spirit?
Smells like teen spirit in here.
We haven't really talked about Rusty and the boys yet in this thing at all.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, I love the subplot of Rusty determined to make Dean a super scientist.
Yes.
Like, it's something that never leaves this show. Still in season 7, they're still dealing with this. And it's just so good, because Dean just does not want it.
No. I wrote down a theory, because we talked about this last week, which was the idea of this is what Rusty does every time the boys die. He goes on this sort of, like, party, sort of, like, what would you even call it? Tour? He goes on like a tour of the world to just
like a soul search kind of. But yeah.
And do you think that this is kind of like what he does every time afterwards, is to take Dean to get a speed suit, and every time Dean is just like not interested, but Rusty is going to try and hope that this time it catches?
I really hope so.
That's
like I don't know, but I would love for that just to be the tradition of like, God, this will be the time.
Yes.
Yeah. There will be some mutation in this clone that will make him want to be a speed suit super scientist.
Ooh. And it never works. Never works.
I also love the moment that they, when they finally woke up from their beds, and they're like, "Happy 16th birthday."
I love that, and I love the, wait, this can't be right. If this date was right, I would be, shut up and eat your cake.
What happened to these IDs? They're all burnt. Laminating accident.
Ugh, great.
But I really like the idea of Rusty being, like, I like his determination to make his son a super scientist, mostly because Rusty is a horrible super scientist.
Yes.
Like, who worse to have, like, inspire you than the guy who's just dirt at his job?
Yeah.
That'd be like, never mind, I'm not gonna make that joke. No, fuck it. That'd be like Trump trying to convince Barron to be president. It's like, come on, you're the worst.
Yeah,
that is true.
I do kind of wonder. I mean, obviously, I think any parent wants their child to be more successful than they are. But I do kind of wonder if now there's more emphasis behind it, so that he can compete against Jonas Jr.
Yes.
I wonder if that's part of it. I don't think they're laying that down necessarily, but I wonder if that's part of his.
I'd be interested to see if that was ever an original plan, because I don't think that ever comes up again.
No, neither do I. But it was just kind of like a thought.
Well, I think it holds a lot of weight though, because I think that obviously him and his brother have a rivalry of some kind, but I think that there's also something. that they kind of dance around between Rusty and Jonas Venture Jr., where it's just kind of like they put up with each other to a large extent. But with Dean in particular, I do think that like both of them kind of project an idea of what their kind of past could have been. It could have been better if they had Dean's upbringing in this weird sort of way. I think both of them do it with Dean. I might be wrong in thinking that, but I think both of them look at him as like the future of super science if their upbringings were different.
Interesting.
I mean, it's possible.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be bump.
Yeah.
Bunk, whatever. You know, you get the idea.
Yeah. Does that speed suit ever come back? It doesn't, right? The Santa's little helper suit?
No. Especially after he turned down what is implied to be an Adidas speed suit, which I wish that we had seen, but no.
Man.
They were too showy.
You looked like the mayor of Candyland. Shut up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we ever see it again.
I think he does
Which
wear
is
a
a shame.
speed suit, obviously, in later seasons, but I believe it's like a baby blue, like Venture Brothers colored one. But that's later. The red one I don't think ever comes back. Unless it's given to the one that lives in the attic.
Oh yeah, that's no. I don't think he has it though.
Yeah, I don't think
he
so
mostly
either.
wears the old school Dean outfit.
Yeah, you're right.
So for me the climax of this episode with the Brock and Phantom Limb is great, but I still think the mall shootout is probably my favorite sequence, and mostly because somebody punches out Rusty's eye.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so graphic.
It's so graphic. Like this
And
show
it's
does
so
graphic
well laid
violence
out.
every now and then, but not quite to that extent very often.
It's so well laid out too, because you see him get socked, and you're like, "Ooh, that looked bad." But you're like, "Yeah, well, whatever." You're like, and then he's walking around. His hands are all bloodied, reaching for his glasses. He puts his glasses on, and his eyes, and then you finally see that his eye is hanging out, and you see his point of view.
Yeah,
It's so
I'm gonna throw up.
Straight. The other's looking at his feet. And you're like, "I'm gonna throw up." You're like, oh god. So graphic and so
It's
well
such
done.
a good
And so
gag.
well timed. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those, like we were talking, I think it was last week's episode, where we talk about the pacing of their jokes and how they got so much better from 1 to 2, and like 1 is great, don't get me wrong, but they know when to hit the chords this time, I think, better than they did the entirety of the first season. And it's things like that, like it just, there's so much chaos going on throughout the entire mall action sequence, but like every little thing still works. It just builds one on top of the other. It's brilliant. All the way to poor Hank chucking his Nerf ball at a gangster. Ah, damn you, Nerf! Like, it's just so good.
You could do it, Duffy Moon. Oh.
Did anybody else look up Duffy Moon?
Yes,
clips
that
after
was going to be
watching
my pop culture thing, because I was like, what the fuck is this a reference to? Oh my god, what is this?
I had looked it up a while back, and I don't really remember it now, but I remember looking it up after I'd watched it once. We're like, what the fuck is he saying? You can do it, Duffy Moon. And that's
I thought
very
it was
Hank.
I thought it was a weird reference to like Warren Moon, an NFL quarterback from like the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And I was like, I was like, he's got a football. This all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Nope. Weird old comedian.
Yep.
That's amazing.
All right, well, let's dive into it. We've been dancing around it long enough.
Let's.
The men of the hour, Phantom Limb. Oh, you know what? I am going to put a real quick pause on it. You got to talk about Dr. Girlfriend. Dr. Girlfriend and the
Yes.
Monarch.
Yeah.
I love their sequence together because the Monarch is legitimately trying, and he just can't help himself.
Yeah.
He-
well,
yeah.
I it's tough. I think he's legitimately 85% trying, because there's
Yes.
still definitely part of him that wants to succeed as a supervillain, and he definitely wants to get her back. But I think even like the moment in which he like kind of breaks down, you're like, there's just so many buttons. It still doesn't seem entirely, because we've seen him break down before, and we'll definitely see him break down further on, and he really gets there. But at this moment, I don't think he's really fully there. I think he definitely wants her back, but I think he's still, as she is saying, is you don't want me enough. You want me a little bit, and you want me to be there, but you want me to be there to see you succeed, as opposed to just me being there.
No, that's a good point. It's because I don't think he knows what she means to him yet. I think the feelings are there. I don't think he's able to articulate it yet.
Yes.
Right.
Or if he even really can admit it to himself yet. Because I do think... Because if it was just, I want a friend, I think he'd get over it faster. Because it's not that. It's just that he really wants her there. And I like that she knows it too, but she's not going to go down that road until he's at the same level that she is.
Yeah, I also think that obviously, like, he's a workaholic. And I think that she doesn't necessarily want their relationship to be completely revolved around work. And, you know, like, all three of us are talking about, like, how he's not fully committed yet. And I think she just wants to know that she wants him to be in the relationship, but also not exclusively because she does all of the dirty work that he doesn't really want to do.
Yeah, she wants to be a partner, not a maid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he wants, but he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially because where the show goes. I mean, we have the benefit of foresight on this. We know where they end up. But, like, even when I was watching this the first time through, it still felt like he legitimately wants her back, and not just to do the flying for him or to tell him how the buttons work or anything like that. Like, he legitimately wants her back. He just doesn't know what that means to him yet. So I really do like, because I feel like he's being, like, vulnerable, which he never really was with her before, and he's, like, honestly pleading for her to take him back, and he has her not necessarily fooled, but he has her like, oh, you're at the wavelength I am now, and that's why she started considering it. And then as soon as 24 comes in with a, hey, boss, it's like, what? Holy crap! And it's like, he just immediately flips in. So when you say 85% of him is all is all he was giving her, I think at that point, that's all he was able to give her. So that was him giving her 100%. It's just he didn't know that it wasn't his 100% yet.
Yeah, 100% of his 85%. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she knows that. She knows that it's not about the 85%. It's about that remaining percent.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So,
and I think the Public and Hammer, they just knocked it out of the park on that one. Like they do such a good job with these little silly relationships, and I think that sequence for me in this episode is just near perfect. Like I love it. It works so well, especially for where the show goes after that.
For sure.
yeah.
I also...
All right, but now let's go back to what we were going to talk about. Let's hit up some Phantom Limb and Brock action.
Just so good. Like with the amazing thing about this show is it teams up people that you never thought would get teamed up, and so when you actually see them interact with each other, you're like, oh, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be crazy. That he's going to totally destroy each other. You're like, when they actually get on that wavelength of they have a common goal. Oh, man, when they're just talking about the personal helicopters and stuff, it just warms my heart. Oh man, it's just such a wonderful sequence. Such a wonderful team up. That's so great. And they're trying to one up each other. I mean, oh man, there's just so much to talk about here.
I love that, and I love the. I like it that they almost start like playing together. Like you can see them like in another world they would be friends. Like I love like he flops on the ground like, I've been torn asunder. Like it's just
oh God, come on, just kill him already. Can't you see he's in terrible pain? Do I have to do it?
It's so good. Like it's just one of those things where, like we say it all the time, it's just one of those things. It's so good, it works so well, and it's like you'd almost like, oh, I would watch a show of Brock and Phantom Limb hanging out together. Like they're hysterical together. They play off each other very, very well.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And they don't take each other very seriously. Like they're constantly making fun of each other.
And like it's just like
you did that with his own finger?
No,
it's just one guy.
But like the little things where it's like, so Brock gets shot by a gangster, and instead of letting him die, Phantom Limb takes him back, does the whole "Welcome to Hell" speech, which he's a very big fan of, which is hysterical. As he's like writhing his arms in the air, but all you see the little nubs of his shoulders. And then he just goes through the list of things that he pulled out of Brock's body. It's like
you might want to learn to duck.
Yeah. I just love that, and a meager handful of buckshot. Like, it's just such a good list. Shark's teeth, bullets, paper clips. It's like, oh, Brock. Don't those things hurt a little bit rattling around in there?
It's not about that. It's not about pain. It's about the idea.
All right. If there's nothing else to say about them, I think we should move into our favorite pop culture reference of this episode and get on out of it.
That works for me.
That works? All right. Do one of you want to go first? I have mine.
Well, mine we already touched on, so we might as well just do... Mine was the Duffy Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Which I had to look up, which is from Season 4, Episode 4 of the ABC After School Special, The Amazing Cosmic Awareness of Duffy Moon. I couldn't find shit other than that. I tried to see if it was like on DVD, because I was like, maybe I'll watch it. No, I don't know anything about this other than there's one IMDb review that's like, I used to always say, you can do it, Duffy Moon. And then it's like, did Jackson Public write this?
You can find the clip now on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I didn't even bother. I didn't want to spoil it in case I wanted to just go back and watch this after school special from like 1978.
Mine is, I have to go with it. I mean, I named my kid after Star Wars. My wife is named after Star Wars. I got to go with the Star Wars reference. When they're tracking her through the parking, when they're tracking Dr. Girlfriend through the parking lot, fly casual. It's just like, it just warms my heart the second I hear it.
And to know that when she mentions, like, yeah, cloaking doesn't work in fourth gear.
Yeah. Immediately knows what they did wrong. She is the best.
She is the best. Mine is the opening with 21's costume change.
So good.
It's just so incredible. And it works so well. I think it's a specific reference to Batman Forever, but just of those movies, of that area, any super villain or superhero costume change or anything like that, we've seen it 1,000 times, and it takes you right there. It works so well.
It's such a great moment. And then the one that none of us brought up, but since Brock did the painstaking work to do the notes for it, I feel we should mention it. There is a moment where I'm reading it right now, where the Monarch refers to all the new henchmen as a bunch of hotshot young Turk 182s, and that's entirely in there because Turk 182 is a movie in 1985 where James Urbaniak was an extra in, and it's like I love these little things that they're able to just hide in the shows that like you would never ever pick up on unless you want to do the research or if you're just an insane fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all three of those moments are fantastic, and like we talked for as long as the episode is, and I feel like we could talk for another half hour just referencing how much we love about it. So I'd say this is a very good one, but again, they're great moments in an episode. Packaging just kind of meh.
Yeah, and totally. I mean, for me, other than it's like few moments, and now that we've talked about it, I'll remember it more. But other than its few moments for me, an oddly forgettable episode.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so good when you're watching it, and like just reminiscing about it. It's like, oh man, I loved this episode.
Yeah.
But when we move on to next week's episode, I'll almost entirely forget this one. And when we come around to the top 5 of the year, I don't think this will be in my list. We'll see, but I don't think it will. We still have the Mummy episode to get to, which is just pure genius from beginning to end. So who knows?
And 20 Years to Midnight. I mean, God damn it.
Season 2 has some gems.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why. I think Season 2 is so strong throughout and has some great, wonderful gems that carry not through just this season, but throughout the entire series, that the ones that are still great episodes, especially compared to Season 1, and that was even great too, they just kind of fall under the ones that are just so amazingly good that they just get forgotten. You know?
Yeah, definitely. But all right, I'd say that's it. I think we should do a round of plugs and then get out of this thing. I will plug, as always. Well, first, before I plug that, I should say some of you have been rating and reviewing us on iTunes, and that has been wonderful, and we really appreciate it. Somebody even left us a review asking if we're going to review Season 7. We will, when we get there. I cannot wait to review it. As I watch it every week, I'm so excited to talk about it. but we have a lot of Venture Brothers in between then and now to get to it.
Which is not a bad thing.
No, it's
So
a great
just
thing. There's
please
so
keep
much good
listening.
stuff in between. But yes, we will definitely do season 7 when we get there.
Yeah.
So please keep doing that. It really helps us out, keeps us up in the charts, and we really appreciate the very nice feedback a lot of you have been giving us so far. If you want to hear my voice and sometimes these other guys' voices elsewhere, listen to After the Hype. Big stuff coming up on After the Hype. We have some really fun movies we're going to talk about, including The Post and Coco. And we're doing, at the end of the month, a spin-off battle. That is any movies that have been spun off of other movies, and we're going to see which one's the best, because most of them are not very good. And last but not least, check out our new podcast, which is an advice podcast called Samwise, where Sam Garrison will be doling out advice on your questions based on Lord of the Rings, the Blu-rays, and the special features. And it sounds like a load of bullshit, but you have to listen to it to hear how good it actually is. She crushes it, and I'm so excited for people to hear it. So check that one out, too. That's all my plugs. Nick?
I am plugging Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Woo!
That's it. Buy it when it comes out.
Nice.
And Graham?
I get from the start of this episode, Cosmos is good. So
Oh, yeah.
there's that. It's a thing.
If it wasn't for Nick's, oh yeah. I don't think that would have worked for me.
It's all about the assist, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That-
I'd just be talking to myself. So.
That was a
Exactly.
Scottie
Nice,
Pippen level assist right there. That was beautiful. And there he is again. All right, so thank you everybody for listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye.